Well, if you are serving ham this holiday season, don't sing the blues over the same old ham recipe. We're going to cook things up here. Actually, we're cooking up a storm with meteorologist Jacob Dickey here in our CI kitchen. All right, are you a ham at Christmas and turkey at Thanksgiving guy?
Not a turkey at Thanksgiving. I'm
still ham?
It's ham, yeah. Why not?
Okay, so how are we going to spruce up and spice up the traditional ham?
Well, you know, around wintertime when it starts getting cold and it's cloudy, everyone wants to take a nice Hawaiian trip. And they get the winter blues, right?
What is that? Mele-Kalikimaka?
Something like that, yeah. We're going to bring that Hawaiian taste into the kitchen here, make some Hawaiian ham. Now, remember, crock pot recipes, they're really easy to do. You know, I've been busy this past week. The weather has been wild. These are simple recipes that are easy to put together. You can let them cook low and slow for hours on end, let that flavor really come together. And I tell you what, this finished crock pot right here at the store cost me just above $20.
Everything inside of it?
Everything inside of it, just above that. So a nice cheap meal too, where it's going to taste delicious, it'll feed the family, and you'll have plenty of leftovers to go around too.
Because the nice thing about ham is it's already cooked, so basically it just needs to be warmed up, so the crock pot is a great tool.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why we're using that. And the other thing too, you know, we're stretching dollars at the grocery stores these days.
Oh,
and so
tell me about it.
I think in 2022 we're going to start talking not only about what we're making, but how much it costs too. We want to keep those, you know, great, delicious meals that are really easy, simple, and low cost.
Okay, so besides ham, how are we putting the Hawaiian twist on it?
Yeah, so what I've done is I already carved up a ham. You can see my big pile of carved ham right here.
Yes.
I've got the bone in.
I know our friends at X Crushers eyeing that ham, Jacob.
Yeah, I got it bone in, and then I got it to where it was not cut yet. The more processing that is, the more the price is going to go up. So I ended up getting this at the big box store for about $2 a pound. About a 9-pound ham here that I carved up. We're just going to drop that in our crock pot here, and that's the start of it. Fill it up nice and full, and really...
Okay, I love that you cut it up, because in my experience of buying ham and putting it in a crock pot, it's always too big, and then I can't get the lid on it.
You know, that's what this one started with, and so I had to cut a little bit off the top there. So we're going to cut it up in some slices. You can either cut it before. If you cut it after, that's going to be fine, because it'll be very tender when it marinates low and slow for 6 to 8 hours. So I think that looks like enough ham to start here. If we want to the end, we can add one more good piece here. A couple
for
of
good
pieces.
Measure.
Yeah. So we don't measure. We don't have time for that. So we got this here, and then we're actually going to measure with a single cup or a single can of the pineapple tidbits here. And I use the tidbits because they're smaller. You're going to use all the juice in there too, and that's going to go right on top. That juice is going to nice and cook into that ham. Yeah. And those tidbits will add a little bit. You can have a nice little side of pineapple that's cooked there. I'm just pouring that on top there. Pretty easy.
So far, we've only had 2 ingredients. So
far, yeah. And we're only going to have 2 more to go in here. The last thing is that you want to use some brown sugar. Now, you can put brown sugar on the bottom. If you put it on the top, it'll cook all the way through too. So I'm going to avoid the bottom of that. We're just going to pour in enough brown sugar to coat that. And if you want to, halfway through, you can add some more on in. That flavor is really going to come together in there. Usually, you're going to end up about 2-3 cups or so. So if you want to put a cup at the bottom, go for it. If you don't, that's fine. We're coating this so you can almost not see it there. But as that brown sugar heats up, the molasses is going to melt on through, and you're going to see it on there and cook it on through.
Nice.
Last thing we're going to do, a little bit of honey on top here. And you can do, you know, just enough to cover it, and you might add a little more later before you eat, but that's going to add some of that sweetness, really help bring out that pineapple flavor, and pair very nicely with it, with that brown sugar, and sit on it. That's it. And then we're going to cook it low and slow. Usually about 3 to 4 hours is about as quick as you can do it, but I've done mine for 6 to 8 hours. Tastes delicious. It's ready to go. I've got a nice, good meal ready to roll when I get home from a long day of weather.
Well, yeah, and honestly, the only liquid was from the pineapple. We didn't add water or anything.
No, the ham has a lot of water in it. You know, you see in the store they add water.
Yes.
So that's going to, when it heats up, come on out and fill it. And you can tell this same amount of liquid in here. On the one that's already done, we're going to dig into that later on in the show. That liquid came out, filled all the way up to the top of the crock pot there.
I bet that was hard to transport today.
A little bit. I was driving about 10 miles an hour back to the station today, and sorry to all the drivers in University who were honking at me out of the way.
My goodness. Okay, well, it looks amazing. We can't wait to try this here coming up a little bit later on. If you want a copy of Jacob's recipe, there's a look at his Facebook page where you can connect with him. He always shares such great stuff. We have it at CILiving.tv.